He looks up, watching as the students in the exam site rush the opposite direction, running right at Deku as the zero-pointer begins its slow walk towards him. He stares it down, but is sidetracked. A voice is heard. Only faint, but is heard. He looks for it, finding a girl stuck under some rubble. Now he couldn't just go for the circuits. Oh well. His grin turns into a full smile as he sends a jet pistol at the rock on top of her, breaking it completely as he sends his other arm towards her, wrapping around her and pulling her to safety. Now it was the robot's turn. He put her rocker down as she stares on. Deku, who was currently steaming, stammered towards the robot. He clenched his fist and jumped into the air, swinging from one building to the other before catapulting himself up, meeting the eyes of the robot. Third gear! He brings his arm forward and takes a huge breath in, his lungs legit bulging from his chest as he bites down on his thumb. Blowing all the air from his lungs into his arm, it grows, blowing into twice, 4 times, 8 times. It just keeps going until it's the same size as the zero-pointer's head. He brings his other hand forward, making his signature L for aim. Gum gum, giant pistol. His fist rockets forward and connects with the zero-pointer. His face gets completely smashed in and stammers back before it catches itself. Uh-oh. It wasn't enough. Deku starts falling, his body going from massive to a baby size in an instant. The teachers look on in horror. What the hell? What just happened? All Might was worried, watching Deku plunge from about 100 meters in the air. He's about to get up before Nezu stops him, watching as ORRR uses her quirk on him to stop him last second. Deku's final score was 70 villain points, 45 rescue points, but only because of his year 3rd drawback. The teachers are in shock as they stop the exam, Aizawa and All Might especially. Aizawa wanted to know more about the drawbacks he has, and All Might wondering why he held back on the zero-pointer. Either way, Deku laid on the floor, dead asleep after the exam, being swiftly woken up by Recovery Girl and walked out of the exam site. He meets up with Bakugo and they have their first chat in 10 whole years. Second chat, but though Bakugo had changed a little bit, they were still the same as when they were kids. Due to Deku bringing him down a good path, he doesn't bully or anything. You know, he just kind of stays in his own lane. Anyway, the metal disc would come in the mail, and Deku and Bakugo would open up theirs together, revealing their scores along with a hologram of All Might talking to them. They're both astounded. All Might! The test scores are read and Bakugo gets pissed. Deku gets first place? What the hell's a rescue point? All Might explains, making Deku making fun of Bakugo a little bit as he calls him out for cheating. They chill for a little before school is finally in session. The first day rolls around and Deku and Bakugo walk in, kinda early, being met by a familiar blue-haired, glasses-wearing kid. Deku and Bakugo try not to make eye contact with him, but they're approached anyway. Deku greets him and he apologizes for before, which Deku low-key appreciates. They chat for a little bit and the rest of the class comes in. Deku immediately a spectacle. Everyone grabbing on his cheeks and shit, pause, to stretch them, double pause. Aizawa laying on the floor of the front of the class would glare up at him below a desk, activating his quirk on Deku. Huh, so it's a mutant type. Interesting. Aizawa then introduces himself, getting up and walking over to the front of the class before telling them to go outside and shut up. They do so and Deku is thrown the ball for being first on the quirk apprehension test. He looks at it with his thumb and finger on his chin, thinking about what to do. He had to throw it as far as possible. Year 3rd would be good, but he didn't want to be a little baby for another 5 minutes. He thinks before it hits him. He brings his fist towards his mouth once again. Aizawa grins, looking on as Deku blows a tiny amount of air into his arm, which he then controls into just his hand and then just his finger. He throws his hand up and then throws the ball up with the other hand, spinning his finger around before rocketing it towards the ball like an MLB player. It shoots off, scoring him at least 3,000 meters. Aizawa was impressed, kind of laughing a little bit on the inside, but that's the first thing he thought. Anyway, there was one more thing to look for, his transformation. The class looks on as Deku poofs into a smaller size once again. Oh damn it, I didn't even blow that much. He's cut off by himself, growing back to full size again. So, the less air he blows into himself, the shorter time he's at small form? Interesting. What a strange quirk Deku has. For the rest of the exam, Aizawa keeps an eye on Deku in particular, activating his quirk on him every now and then to see if it works. He figures a few things out. During the dash, he cancels his quirk while in Gear 2, leaving Deku tired and fatigued. He's confused by this, but moves on anyway. With this, Deku scores very well on almost every portion of the test, scoring at least top 5s, but Deku is annoyed that he stumbled and getting tired. A fact that he didn't know was Aizawa. Aizawa notes in his head about Deku's gear techniques and their strains. He doesn't know why, but he feels like Deku could do more. His quirk seems special in a way. He pulls Deku aside and tells him plain and simple, your quirks are useful, but if you can't control those transformations, it is going to be the death of you in a real fight. Deku's taken aback by this, but it only motivates him further to do better. He also cops some from Bakugo, who he did score ahead of, but by a lot in the trials. But looked clumsy due to Aizawa's Jesus Christ, I cannot. Sorry, my bad. Okay. All Might. Wait. They head to class once again and sit down, studying as normal until the Heroes vs Villains test, with the one and only All Might. He comes through the door like a regular person, telling them to get their hero costumes on and head to Ground Gamma for a special class only he can teach. They make their way down. Deku drip with Luffy's pants and shirt on, but with some white and yellow type of vibe, you know. In my head, it looks clean. All Might explains the rules to the class as they pick ballots. Deku being paired with ORRR versing Ida and Bakugo. This was going to be a good fight. Even All Might knew this. They sent off in random directions, and Deku and ORRR begin to talk as the class look on. All Might is grinning as he watches them on the monitors. The class asks him about this, and he begins to explain. This young man saved Bakugo from a villain 10 months ago. If it weren't for him, both Bakugo and me would be going down a different path right now, to say the least. The class is confused until the countdown is finished. Deku grins, as does Bakugo. They immediately run inside. Deku rushing upstairs. He knew Bakugo was going to do the same. Meeting in the middle, they fight. This was the first of many training sessions that they were going to have. One they had been planning for 10 years. They meet. Deku, having just made it up to the first set of stairs, sees Bakugo dropping from the 3rd floor. He chimes to ORRR straight away. Bombs on the 3rd floor. I got something to take care of real quick. ORRR understands and starts heading up to the 3rd floor. Deku and Bakugo running towards each other. Let's go, Deku. No holding back. Bakugo straight away sending a huge right and explosion right at Deku. Deku dodges, moving his head out of the way as he jumps back, sending a gum spear at Bakugo, clamping his 2 feet together. He then breaks the gauntlets on Bakugo's left hand. Deku smirks. Huh, so you have been training this whole time. They rush in again, Deku dodging and getting hit every now and then, though it didn't hurt too much. He then hears it. Bakugo's right gauntlet clicking as a glowing bright red. He puts his hands up. Well, how the tables turn. Deku looks on. What was that? Why was it glowing? Over the intercoms, All Might screams, "Don't do it." Bakugo ignores him and pulls the pin anyway. Deku, seeing a geyser of an explosion running towards him, opens his eyes wide. Reacting just in time, he spins 180 degrees and takes a huge breath in. Expanding his body into defensive mode, he calls Gum Balloon. Bakugo's explosion connects, hitting Deku but not badly injuring him. Deku flings backwards, pinging against all of the surfaces in the hallway as he deflates. Bakugo is shocked. What the hell was that? Why was he so big? Pause. How did he... He's cut off by Deku, who catches himself mid-bounce and redirects his momentum, shooting right at Bakugo before sending a mean Gum spear right at Bakugo's stomach, knocking him straight out. Deku then rushes upstairs to meet with ORRR, who's standing with him on the outside of the room. They both watch as Ida does his villain impression, laughing at him in secret before moving on. Deku, having seen his quirk in the apprehension test, tries to send his arm out, grabbing Ida's leg. As he does this, ORRR runs for the bomb, Ida trying to catch her, but is slammed against the wall instead. The hero team wins. Deku helps Ida up and then rushes downstairs to meet a barely awake Bakugo. What happened? Deku smiles and tells him he fought well and that his explosions almost got him. He helps Bakugo back over to the class and they walk him to Recovery Girl before walking back to class. They go over the footage and Aizawa is impressed. Huh, He did all of that and he didn't even use his gears.